All right, 7.4 special right triangles. So in this section, we are going to talk about two different special right triangles. The first one we're going to talk about is a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. And then the second one will be a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So the special thing about a 45, 45, 90 triangle and a 30, 60, 90 triangle is if you are given one side length, you can find all the rest of the side lengths because there is a ratio or a scale factor that each of the other side lengths are going to be multiplied by to get the actual distance of the sides. So on a 45, 45, 90 triangle, it's kind of like an isosceles triangle, right? So this angle is congruent to this angle, which means that the sides opposite are always equal. So whatever this side is also going to be that. Then, to get your hypotenuse, you just take that number and you multiply by the square root of 2. Okay? Now, let's say that they gave you the hypotenuse number and you want to go backwards to find the leg. What you do is you would have to divide by the square root of 2 because you're going backwards. So instead of multiplying, you would divide. Okay, so we're going to try a couple of these. So number 1, it's a 45, 45, 90. It's labeled. So this is 6. That makes this 6 also. To get from here to this side, I am going to multiply this 6 by the square root of 2, and that's my answer. Now, in Schoology, if they want a decimal, of course, put that into your calculator, or they may want the radical answer, so make sure it's a reduced radical. Okay. Number 2, 45, 45, 90 again. So this leg is going to be congruent to this leg, so that's going to be 9 square roots of 2. Now, I have to multiply by the square root of 2 to get to x. So I'm going to do 9 square roots of 2 times the square root of 2. So now we have to think back to that radical mini unit. That gives me 9 square roots of 4. The square root of 4 is 2, so that's really 9 times 2, which equals 18. So x equals 18. And number 3, on this one, 45, 45, 90, but they gave me the hypotenuse, so I need to go backwards. Remember, if I go backwards, I divide by the square root of 2. So I'm going to do 9 square roots of 2 divided by the square root of 2. Those two things cancel, so x just equals 9. Go ahead and pause me and try 4 through 7 on your own, and then unpause me when you're done. Now, 7 is this whole table. Okay. All right, so number 4. Now, this is a right triangle. This side is congruent to this side, which means that this angle has to be congruent to this angle, which then in turn means that it is a 45, 45, 90. So to get to my hypotenuse, I multiply by the square root of 2, so I get 12 square roots of 2, and that equals x. Again, x and x, so that means that this has to be congruent to this. I'm going to go backwards, so I'm going to do 8 divided by the square root of 2. Now, on this one, remember back from the mini unit, I can never have a radical in the denominator, so I have to do what's called rationalizing the denominator. So I have to multiply by square root of 2 on top and bottom. When I do that, I get 8 square roots of 2 over square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is square root of 4. The square root of 4 is actually 2. That is not my answer. You do not want to put that in as an answer because that's not reduced. Because now I can do outside divided by outside. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. Then I'm left with the square root of 2. That is for x. All right, one more. This is congruent to this, 90-degree angle, so that has to be 45 and 45. To get from my hypotenuse back to my leg, I divide by the square root of 2. That cancels, and x just equals 5 here. Okay, so on this table, they're saying it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. X and x are my legs, y is my hypotenuse. So here they gave me my x, my leg, so I have to find my hypotenuse, which is just multiplied by the square root of 2. Here they gave me my hypotenuse, which is 4 square roots of 2. I have to go backwards to find my leg, so I divide by the square root of 2. That cancels, that just gives me 4. Here they gave me a leg of a square root of 2. I have to go forward to find my hypotenuse, so that is multiplying by the square root of 2. So that's square root of 4. Square root of 4 is actually just equal to 2. Next is 9. 9 is a leg. I have to go forward and multiply by the square root of 2 to get to the hypotenuse, so that's just 9 square roots of 2. And then the last one, they gave me the hypotenuse, which is 24. And I have to go backwards, so I have to divide by the square root of 2 in order to get that leg. Multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2 to rationalize that denominator. So I get 24 square roots of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. Outside divided by outside is 12 square roots of 2. And that is on a 45, 45, 90. Okay, so you have x times the square root of 2. Now what we have is a 30, 60, 90. Okay, so obviously a 30, 60, 90 is going to be slightly different than a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So on a 30, 60, 90, we have the 30-degree angle is across from the shortest side, 60-degree angle is across from the medium side, and then the hypotenuse, of course, is across from the 90-degree angle. Your most important side on this one is your small side. You find everything off of your small side. So if they give you your small side, you can find your hypotenuse and your medium side. But if they don't give you your small side, you actually have to take whatever side they gave you, find your small side, and then use that to find your next side. So to get from the small side to the hypotenuse, you multiply by 2. So if I'm going backwards, going from hypotenuse to the small side, I have to divide by 2. To get from my small side to my medium side, so my small leg to my next leg, I multiply by the square root of 3. But to go backwards, so if they gave me my medium, to get back to my small, I would divide by the square root of 3. Okay? We're going to try some of these together. So, on the first one, they gave me my small side because it's across from my 30-degree angle. So to get to my x, which is my hypotenuse, I multiply by 2. So 5 square roots of 3 times 2, you do outside times outside, so that just gives you 10 square roots of 3. Okay? Now, to get, so that's times by 2. To get from my small side to my medium side, I multiply by the square root of 3. So I'm going to do 5 square roots of 3 times the square root of 3. Well, that gives me square root of 9, and the square root of 9 is 3, so I'm going to do 5 times 3, which is 15. So y equals 15. All right, number 2. Again, we always want to go off my small side. They did not give me my small side in this situation, so I have to find my small side. So they gave me the hypotenuse, the longest side, so I'm going to have to go backwards to find my small side. So to go backwards, remember I divide by the square, or I just divide by 2. So 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. So x equals 4. Now I go off my small side to find my medium side. And remember, small to medium, you multiply by the square root of 3. So I'm just going to do 4 times the square root of 3, which is just 4 square roots of 3. Okay? Number 3. Again, we want to find our small side. That's the side we go off of. That's not the side that they gave me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go backwards from medium to small by dividing by the square root of 3. So I'm going to do divide by the square root of 3. Don't want a radical in the denominator, so I rationalize. If you didn't do that radicals mini unit, this is probably a little confusing for you right now, so you need to go back and look at those videos. So I get 18 square roots of 3. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is just 3. So 18 divided by 3 is 6, so I get 6 square roots of 3 for this small side. Oops, not equals, but 6 square roots of 3. Now I use the small side to find my large side, my hypotenuse, by just multiplying by 2. So 6 times 2 is 12 square roots of 3. Go ahead and pause me and try 4 through 7 on your own. 7 is one of those tables like we had on the other side. Okay, so large to small, divide by 2. So 16 divided by 2 gives me 8 for y. To go to my medium, I multiply by the square root of 3, so that's just 8 square roots of 3 for x. They gave me the small side, so to get to my hypotenuse, I multiply by 2, so that's just 22. To get over to my medium side, I multiply by the square root of 3, so that gives me 11 square roots of 3. Number 6, they gave me medium, so I need to go to small. So I need to take 13 square roots of 3 divided by the square root of 3, which that just cancels, right? So x equals 13. To get to my hypotenuse, I double that, so that equals 26. Okay, filling out the table. So A is small, B is medium, C is hypotenuse large. So A, they gave me the small one on this one. So A to C would be multiplied by 2, so that gave me 18. A to B is multiplied by the square root of 3, so that gives me 9 square roots of 3. I'm going to do my other one in the table that they gave me the small side. So double it to get C, so I get 22. Multiply by the square root of 3, so I get 11 square roots of 3 to get the medium side. Now they gave me B, so they gave me the medium side, so I have to go backwards to find A. So go backwards by dividing by square root of 3. So I'm going to do 9 divided by square root of 3. Rationalize, rationalize. So I get 9 square roots of 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Reduce that, and that gives me 3 square roots of 3. And that is the small side. Now I can use that small side to find my large side by multiplying by 2. So that's just 6 square roots of 3. I'm going to do the next one, which is also B, the medium side. So I have to go backwards to find A. So I divide by the square root of 3. That just cancels, and so you get 5 for your small side. You multiply that by 2 to get your large side C, so that is 10. The last one, they gave us the large side. So I need to divide that by 2 to get my small side, so that would be 8. And then I take that 8 and I multiply by the square root of 3 to get the median side, so 8 square roots of 3. So really, you need to remember what to do. And you need to know that we do backwards operations if we are going back to the small side, okay? So multiply by 2 for hypotenuse, multiply by the square root of 3 for median, okay? All right, find the values of each of the variables and write it in the simplest radical form. So they want you to keep the radical on this. Go ahead and pause me and try 8 and 9 on your own. Unpause me when you're done. Since this is x and this is x, that means they are the same number. So x is going to be 45 degrees. So this is the 45, 45, 90. So that means to get to my hypotenuse from my leg, I multiply by the square root of 2. So y is going to equal 12 square roots of 2. All right, 2n and n, and this is 90. So that means 90 plus 2n plus n equals 180 degrees. That's in that triangle, right? So that's 3 n's equal 90. So n equals 30. So this is a 30. And if I plug in 30 here, I get 60. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. They gave me the hypotenuse long side, so I need to go backwards to find my small side, so I divide by 2. So P would equal 15, because 30 divided by 2 gives me that 15. Now that I know the small side, I can go forward to find my medium side by multiplying by the square root of 3, so you just get 15 square roots of 3. Okay, so 2 homework things. There's a Schoology assignment, and then there's a worksheet that you will need to complete, and then enter your answers into Schoology. The worksheet is, there's actually 2 worksheets. The worksheet is this guy, and the following page, this guy. Okay? And then that's what you enter into Schoology, the answers to those. All right. Thanks, guys.